he was impressed with last night's show. Started right on time. It was an hour and a half, very sort of compressed and compact.
Yeah.
Is it always that brief? He expected something a little bit longer.
Oh, right. You see, all I can do is play shows like kind of the way I would like to see them, and I hate long rock and roll shows. So that's why I like to keep it. I mean, that was for us a little bit of a... No, it wasn't. It was about... That was an average length show. But, man, I wouldn't want to play longer than... Because it's too loud. It's bad for your ears. More than an hour is really... Your ears can take it for an hour, and then you really start to do damage. And so, along with that health consideration... I prefer short shows. Also, when I play by myself, I oftentimes play for like almost 2 hours because that's just quiet and I think it's easier to take. But with the full rock treatment, I like to keep it to around an hour.
A lighter version, a cleaner version of Dinosaur Jr.
Well,
as if he was a little more filthy. It's like you were shampooing every
Right.
day.
There you go. Well, let's see. I think Jay did a lot to... For modern rock, in that he made people remember that it's okay to admit you love Neil Young and Black Sabbath, and just like he let people relax and listening to his music inspired a lot of people, right? And not that he was doing something very, very, very new, although I believe he was, but more like he made people remember, hey man, loud psychedelic rock, man, let's get into it, but why not? Let's not worry about it, let's just, go with it.
It doesn't have to be retro, you mean? A modern treatment?
Yeah, it's a tough call. I don't know, Jay is just, well, okay, I'm honored that you would make that association because, he's one of my, I think that they're really pretty much the best band these days, I think, I don't know, so, yeah, he's cool.
The Japanese fans were a bit disappointed that Juliana Hatfield didn't accompany you this time.
Oh.
Was there some sort of a parting of the
No, that's not, I don't think that's a fair thing to, well, no, I mean, okay, they don't know what the deal is, okay, and let me try to explain it. Juliana she never planned, and I would never want her with me because she has specifically her own fish to fry right now. She has her own band, and she has to do that. She has stuff to do, right? And the fact that she can help me out with my records is that's really cool. And I'm sorry I couldn't bring her, but it's for the better of everybody because she's doing her own album and she has her own band. So, we can fly higher separately for a while. Maybe someday we will have a band together, but for a while we need to work on our own things.
And actually, I guess working with her originally was sort of an added plus. It wasn't something that you were expecting to do constantly.
It was actually just a happy accident, because we were living in the same apartment, and I needed to record, and I played bass in her band, the Blake Babies, for a while, and so she was just returning the favor, and it was fun. And I'm going to get her in on the next album to sing, to sing. Nick will play the bass, and she'll do a little bit of singing. Mm-hmm. So it goes on. Rift, by the way.
Yeah. No, Ken calls it. The fans here are always speculating about your relationship with her. Right. And I was platonic.
Right. Okay. Juliana and I have had crushes on each other for a long time. That's about it. And we just we've dabbled a bit, but nothing serious. And who knows? Maybe we'll get married someday. I don't know. But right now, it's also not separate from the music. It's better for us to go off on our own. Maybe someday, maybe we'll get together and be boyfriend and girlfriend someday. Who knows? I mean, the potential is there.
Rumor of her coming here in June with a band called Barry.
Oh, her band's called Barry.
Barry と Juliana Hatfield が一緒の
Oh, they're gonna come. She's gonna come with a band. The two band.
Belly. Yeah. Oh, excellent. That's the best because She's one of my other favorite women, Tanya Donnelly. Yeah, she's an old friend from Boston too. So maybe I can come along and see some shows. I'd love to, because those girls are they're very very happening for '93. I would predict. Yes, they're both really great songwriters and singers, and they both can play the guitar too. And so wow, if they came together, that would be the best.
Yeah. That's the rumor.
Oh well. That should happen. That could happen. I can see that.
Question about your background there, and here's you were originally a soul fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I lived in the country until I was 9, and so I mean, there weren't any record stores in the town I grew up in. I don't think there weren't none. They were just like a general store where you could get like candy. But so I just listened to my parents' music, and luckily enough, they had a real strong love of music, and what we listened to was Martha and the Vandellas and Motown and Marvin Gaye and the Temptations and just all that really really good stuff, and Neil Young, and it took my own impetus to get into things like Sabbath and Zeppelin, because they couldn't really hang with that stuff. But by the time I hit 5th grade, I was a big Sabbath head, and so
5th grade.
Yeah, 5th grade. Well, all my friends were into Sabbath. The coolest rock band.
Mm-hmm.
The early Sabbath records are pretty unparalleled as far as I'm concerned. Just because they're so humorous and simple, and they have the courage to be stupid and mean it.
Where did you grow up? What part of the area?
I grew up in. So I was 9. I lived in Essex, Massachusetts, which is on Cape Ann. And then when I was 9, I moved into the city. And I had learned to skateboard when I was like 7, and then moved to Boston, brought my skateboard, and went out and discovered the city, which was great. It ended up making me get into drugs at far too early an age, but luckily I've gone straight edge, and so I put that all behind me.
He wants us to check this for the record. I guess you said in a prior interview that you originally got into rock music when your parents' marriage broke up, and you became very disappointed in people. Yeah.
The deal was, I think everyone goes through a lot of problems and self-hatred in high school, and that was just added to by my parents' divorce, and it just it made me angry, and I guess what happened was I got into hardcore punk rock to get out my aggressions, and it was a good way to do it. Went to see bands like Flipper and completely just got really out of it, and just jump around a lot and scream and yell, and it was fun. It was a good outlet for me.
Mm-hmm. So when the Dando was also the beginning of your association with drugs back then, when you were getting the hardcore.
I'm afraid, I'm ashamed to admit that I first got into drugs when I was 10 years old, because me and my friend used to walk this guy's dog, who had in his desk in a mug 20 joints at all times, so we could slip one out and go walk the dog and get stoned. And by the time we had done it 5 or 6 times, we started actually getting stoned, and we liked it a lot. And I think that's a sad thing. When I have kids, I'm going to try to keep them away from drugs till they're around 16, and then I'll get stoned with them. If I still smoke pot then, because I think pot's not the end of the world. It's certainly no worse than alcohol for you, and it doesn't lead to violence as often as alcohol, which is my other pet peeve about the world, is violence. And drugs, yes. I just always see, the problem was I read these books about the Rolling Stones when I was a little kid, and I was like, man, the coolest thing. That and all these, Tom Wolfe books about tripping and, the merry pranksters and all that, and so it just looked really like a fun thing to try out, and I think I'm okay though. I seem to have made it through, so I don't know.
Who's this guy's dog? You said you were walking some guy's dog, and
yeah,
joints in his mug.
Yeah, we were snooping about his house because he wouldn't be there, and we had his key to his house, and we were snooping around, and we found these marijuana cigarettes, and so we'd go out and walk the dog, and get stoned when we were like 11 years old.
But why would you have the keys? Who was he? Why would you have the
He
keys?
was my friend's friend, and you know, it was this little, you know how 11-year-old kids sometimes have these little jobs they could do, like sell lemonade or walk dogs. It was just that kind of thing, and it led to drug abuse.
When did you first decide on becoming a professional musician? When did that notion strike you that you could make a living doing this? Or that
Right.
you would make a living doing this?
Man, it's I always thought I got the idea just by chance, because it was just a hobby. We were in high school, we had a band, and it looked like fun. And then we just were lucky. We had all these breaks, and it always got easier and easier to do it. And we'd have, and I you know, when I was 18, 19, and 20, I had to work, you know, too, and I was a waiter, and eventually it just happened. I never really thought about it in advance. It just was like, it was a happy accident that it happened, you know, and just very lucky, you know. So it wasn't the idea from the beginning, but it just happened, and I'm glad it did, because I'd rather put food on my own table from something I like to do rather than something that I hate.
But already when you were doing your band, I would imagine that it was in the back of your mind. If you could make a living doing this, it'd be great.
That's true.
But when do you think you first got the desire to take that course? Was it back when you were in elementary school?
No, not at all. I never knew what I was going to do. You know, I've always been someone who'd rather just watch and see what happens. And then when we got signed to Atlantic, I was like, well, goodness sakes, I'll give this a go, and I'm going to treat it more seriously now, and try to do my best whenever I get up on stage. Because what's the point, you know? If you're gonna, you better. I start when I got signed to Atlantic. I said, well, we're gonna try to do this as well as we can, you know.
Disappointed with the music business and took off to Australia once.
Yeah.
What exactly happened?
Well, what exactly happened was we released our first major label album, and the people that had signed us left the label right before it came out, and so it was completely lost. It was called Lovey, and then we did a 3-month tour of the States, and nothing went well. The label didn't give us any support, and so, but that was a valuable experience, because it made me understand that even if I wasn't making any money and just barely getting by, and even if I had to get a job, I still wanted to do it, you know. So that was a good experience. And then eventually the label found this, it reshifted it had upheaval, and cool people got in the label, and luckily enough for us, they looked upon us as a viable band, and his name's Danny Goldberg, and he came to Atlantic, and everything got a lot better, and so it worked out perfectly the way everything does. No doubt the universe is unfolding as it should be.
Did Danny Goldberg tell you to come back from Australia, or had you already?
Oh no, it wasn't like I didn't go. I just went there because we toured there, and I liked it a lot. And I went back and did a solo tour, opening up for Fugazi, and it was just a bit of a excellent adventure where I was, because I knew I needed some inspiration from somewhere, and somehow I knew what I needed to do to myself to come up with another album, and that's what it turned out to be, was go to Australia.
Things must really be progressing quite well now, because you release the album, you come all the way to Japan, and you're getting this sort of reception here. So things are obviously going quite well now.
Yeah, remarkably enough, things are going well, and it's pretty convenient, because I ran out of money I made when I was a kid. 'Cause I was in a Jell-O commercial when I was a kid, and I had like several $1,000s from my struggling early 20s, and that's just run out. And so luckily I stand to make a couple more $1,000 to go on eating, and so luckily, yeah, things are happening now, and it's also really fun, and and gonna be able to survive from it, I guess.
Is the record doing well?
Yeah, it's doing well. I don't know. We sold somewhere around 300,000 in the States so far, which is for us just astoundingly well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, and elsewhere it's selling a bit. So yeah, things are going well. We're gonna go back and tour. We're gonna try to eke a gold record out of this whole thing. And so that means 500,000.
Uh-huh.
So that's a bit of a goal, you know.
Uh-huh.
And it's not about the money. It's really about when people buy your record, you know that they listen to it at least once. So there you go. It's like it's good to sell records because it's fun to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
そんでなんかこれインタビュー賞
It's probably shocked when you saw the Bruce Weber photo of you on the cover of Interview magazine.
Yeah, I was shocked about the whole thing too.
Because I mean, it sort of speaks volumes about how far you've come.
Yeah, but you know what? It just speaks volumes about how it's about being lucky and this like he happened to see pictures of me and he was like, "Hey, I'd like to photograph that guy," so he brought me to Miami. It was just really lucky, you know. My mother was a model too, so it's like now I'm getting into this thing like okay, yeah, I'll have my picture taken. I can go along with that if it helps promote the band and what I'm trying to do. You know? Yeah, that was funny. Married, you know. I mean, and he's just a really a very he's got a good energy. If I must be LA about the whole thing, no, he didn't.
No, I'm just
confused.
confused.
Yeah.
What's our question?
No, he's a lovely guy. He wouldn't be so rude as to make a pass at someone he's taking pictures of. I believe that's the truth.
でちょっと
I guess, I mean, this is kind of complicated, but
I guess it is.
Yeah,
too.
this is, you musically
Yeah.
seem to be in kind of the grungier camp, you know,
Yeah.
in rock and roll.
Right.
But I mean, you know, appearing on the cover of Interview magazine, you know,
Specifically, non-grunge
it's
gesture
not
on my part.
gesture on your part, as well as your other very sort of, you know, clean, well-scrubbed looks and stuff.
Right.
You don't have any tattoos. You
No.
don't seem to be, you know, like one of the toughs in that on that side of the tracks there.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself as sort of standing out from those people, from a big difference?
Yeah, you know, I did my time in the grunge camp. You know, like, you know, I mean, but I think it's time to go a bit glam grunge. It's just like, you know, just because trying to make fun of the whole genre, you know, like that's what I'm trying to do because clearly no one really understands what grunge is. All it is rock and roll, cool rock and roll. You know, I mean, it's just like punk rock, just rock and roll too. Grunge is just rock and roll. It's just so I'd like to make fun of it where I can, you know, and I'm not really very interested in categorization and labels in any way. So I'll just be myself. You know?
Well, I guess it also means, you know, getting exposure wherever you can. If that happens to be the cover of an interview, that's fine.
Sure. No, that was just fun, and I like to you know, I enjoy speaking. I enjoy words and language, and so these kind of things afford me the opportunity to express myself on a verbal level. So I'll go with it. You know, I don't think it's a bunch of bunk. I think it's a worthwhile practice to talk about what you're trying to do. You know, I don't mind it.
It's a shame about right っていう歌があるんですけど
There was some have speculated that It's a Shame About Ray is about Charles Manson.
Well, it's about him and everybody else. It's a little bit pretentious in that it's supposed to be kind of some Ray and some notion of every man, right? It's a shame about Ray. It's a shame about human nature, and also it's also just a very specific, abstract song about one person who has disappeared and no one knows what happened to him, and so it was just that sentence just it gave birth to this song. It's a shame about Ray, kind of like the trouble with Harry, right? That kind of thing, you know. Just a bit of a nice sentence that we happen to be able to go with and have fun with.
But no deeper meaning.
Okay, what it is the one Manson reference on "It's a Shame About Ray" is in the song "It's a Shame About Ray," and it says, "Some things need to go away," semicolon or whatever. Shorty Shea. He's the guy that no one ever found that the Manson family killed, a stuntman that lived on the Spahn Ranch, and so that's the one reference. Some things need to go away. Shorty Shea. Yeah.
So kind of a black humor.
Exactly. Yeah, black humor. No, but it's also it's an eerie and it's trying to be kind of an eerie song. It's actually it's not really black humor. That would be a bit cruel. I would not want to like do that to Shorty, right? I just stating the fact that you know, like that's an example of human nature gone really, really bad. The way that those people killed him, you know. I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. Yeah.
More of an irony.
Yeah.
You, I guess, sort of gave a grungy treatment of Luca last night.
Oh yeah, it was a mess. Yeah.
You know, it's I guess a song about child abuse,
right.
Abuse, or broken home.
Yeah.
Does it have any particular meaning for you? That song?
I wonder. I never analyzed it at all. I just thought it was it was more of like a song that haunted us on one of our early tours. It was on the radio every time we got in the car, so we were like, man, let's get back at this song somehow, you know? Yeah, but I mean, actually, you know, I think the song is really catchy. I don't love the song, but it's just it has something about it that's really catchy, and we thought we'd like to hook up with that a little bit and just, well, you know, we did it as a joke originally, and then the guy at our indie label, Curtis, he said, you must record this, and so we did it. We did it in 1988 for our second album ever, but we were just too embarrassed to put it out. But then Lick, we were going to end the band after Lick, and so we were like, well, let's just give them a real hard time and put that out. And it seems that's what got us signed to Atlantic. That's pretty funny.
So was it originally an inside joke?
Oh yeah, absolutely, inside joke. Yeah, this song has something about it. We need to give it a treatment.
There's I guess kind of a pop and a lighter side, a more humorous side to what you do, but is there also sort of a serious kind of a nightmarish, darker side to
Right. Yeah, I do have I've always had really bad nightmares. That's true, and I tend to sometimes walk in my sleep and stuff, which is scary. And really, the record that I just made, Shame About Ray, is more about trying to talk about things that I like. But then there's also the bummer. There are two kinds of songs: the bummer songs like "Rudderless" and "The Turnpike Down," which are like songs about being in a really unshakable depression. And then there's songs that are trying to glorify is a bad word. Trying to describe something that I really like my friend Nicole. The song "My Drug Buddy" is about. See, I was back in Boston after a trip to Sydney, and I just missed her and Tom and my friends down there, and so I was trying to bring them back to myself by writing a song about what we did down there, which did include a little bit of drugs, but it's more about just liking these people so much and going out and exploring Sydney, walking around, you know. So, you know, take the good with the bad, right? And also I write about the good and the bad, right?
Or band member Ben
Diley,
yeah. He wrote a song slamming you or something like that.
Yeah, he did. He slammed me. But he says that, and I believe him, it was just his way of saying hello, because we hadn't been able to get together. But, well, you know, I don't know. I don't have not much patience for that guy anymore. I think he's a bit of a spoiled brat, and things just weren't working out between myself and the other guys in the band, because he started singing, whereas he used to just scream, and that sounded cool. But really, to tell you the truth, I wasn't into the music he was writing, and so we parted ways artistically. And now he tried to sue us to say that we couldn't use the name Lemonheads anymore, and he didn't have a leg to stand on. He lost, and so he wrote a song about it. That's his problem, and I enjoyed listening to the song. So we're all. I think that, you know, and if it can help him get his band going, then that's really good too. Because I would like to see him do music, because he is a talented guy, you know, and so Yeah.
Just sour grapes.
I suppose, yeah, sour grapes are there.
Also, he has also heard rumor that some former friend of yours is writing a biography about you called The Erect Penis.
No, it's called Bulging Penis, the Lemonheads story. That's just, a really funny title for a book, and he's,
Sounds like he has an axe to grind.
Oh, no way, Corey, we're best friends. Corey, he's a classics professor at Bryn Mawr, and he used to play lead guitar for us. Now, I don't know where you get the negative implications of that. That's just we thought it was a really striking and funny, ridiculous title for the book. And he's just, wait till if you get a chance to read it, you'll laugh because he's just one of the funniest guys I've ever met. And he's incredible. He has a PhD and he's a classics professor, and he wants to write a book about us. And I'm honored. And no, he's not slamming us. No.
He's writing this thing now, so
yeah, I think it's done.
Uh-huh.
We'll see. I got to call him to see if we can get something going to try to publish it.
You glorified in this song that's slamming you, and we've got a PhD holder writing a biography about you. It's like the makings of a bona fide rock star here or something.
We'll see.
Yeah, but he was wondering, do you want to stay in small clubs? If you start selling records, you're obviously going to have to break out of that circuit.
Right.
How
I don't
small
know.
do you want to keep this?
I think if we do start playing like places like 10,000 or so, we're going to have to get another guitar player because we could fill the space better that way. Right now, I love the trio thing because for small clubs it's enough, but I imagine we could rise to the occasion. I don't know. We've played for say 6,000 people at a time, and we seem to pull that off okay. So I don't know. We'll wait and see until that happens. But I would rather play smaller places. I would rather keep it to around 2,000. And I think you can do that. You can do like maybe 5. You can do like 3 or 4 night stands in places. I would rather do that. Of course, I guess with the old dosh factor, that it's a little hard to swing that. But I don't know. Alex, how are Nirvana going to go about this thing? He's gone. He works with Nirvana, right? And I think they feel the same way. They wouldn't rather not play these huge places, but they're huge. They are really huge. Everyone knows that. But so we'll see. We'll see if we can swing something where we don't have to play bigger places. But I know my management company is already talking about putting us on tour with the Spin Doctors, where we'll be playing with for 12 to 20,000 people, and I'll try it. We'll see if I can do it or not. And
that's a big venue, 12 to 20,000 people.
Well, the Spin Doctors are huge all of a sudden. They're huge. They're just, or maybe it's around. Maybe it's more like 5 to 10,000. I don't know. I don't 12 though. I've heard it's going to be a big tour, Yeah, but I don't know if we'll do it or not. But we'll see.
Yeah. Getting towards the end here now.
That's all right. Yeah.
A comment by Juliana in a certain magazine where she said that the problem with you is that you're beautiful and you're too interested in life. And she seemed to, when she said life, she seemed to be suggesting other women.
Yeah.
A love for life, I guess she was saying. You like to just kind of spread yourself thin a bit.
Zest. Yeah, well, it's a bit of a worry, I really like to just. I'm really more of a flirt than someone who's actually promiscuous, But I do like to flirt. There's no stopping me. I love to meet girls and talk to them, and occasionally have a bit of a smooch. Juliana, I can see what she means because I don't know whether she wants me to be like really faithful to her or some way, but she doesn't want to go out with me in any kind of official way anyway, so I can't really help her there, I don't know. Yeah, but her point is taken, I can slow down a bit.
Cool. So he wants to confirm one last point here, taking 2 steps back. Is Juliana sort of the Nico of Lemonheads, like Nico was in Velvet?
The chanteuse, Chanteuse, yeah.
Is she someone who's just going to sort of come and go?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I mean, she really only will have time to come in and sing in the studio with us because she's. You wait. I mean, I reckon she's going to be really pretty happening act. Like not that she isn't already, but no, she doesn't have time. I wouldn't want her to devote too much time to my thing because she's got her own thing. And yes, she will be Nico. Yes. But she's not from Germany. It's the only difference between Nico and Juliana's. And Juliana's from Massachusetts.
That's all.